the spectrum that is used for anti-acne bacteria is specifically to be absorbed by P. acne bacteria.
Okay.
Not saying that it, the photon is so smart that it, the light particle is so smart that it says, no, I'm going to only be exposed or only be absorbed by P. acne bacteria. No, but other bacteria are more absorbent of other spectra, other parts of the spectrum, but to the most part, it affects a very specific colony or very specific strains, and P. acne bacteria are one of them. And it doesn't necessarily affect the entire organism. Having said that, again, it does affect the mitochondria negatively. You don't want to use blue light willy-nilly, even if you have acne. Like there is a drawback. You're paying something.
Got it.
Yeah.
It's so fascinating, all the ways in which we can work with the body and the cells and the mitochondria. But I want to come back to this idea of when we're supporting the energy of the cell, everything's improving. So you said you started in red light?
Yeah.
And then you've moved into a supplementation company for the skin. How is the health of our skin interrelated with our internal health?
Okay, that's a great question. And I think the lowest hanging fruit is actually detoxification. So if your skin doesn't detoxify well, you are going to suffer. One of the reasons, by the way, that chemical SPF sunblock is not good for you is because it actually impedes some of the detoxification of the skin. But that's a really low hanging fruit, and we kind of know that we need detoxification. We can support it by, again, like sauna. Red light helps as well. There are a few things we can do. But another thing that is less known is the accumulation of cellular debris and senescent cells in the skin that then affects your brain and the rest of the body. And that's something that these are newer series of studies, mainly out of Portugal, that really speak to the health of the skin as an information relaying organ to the brain.
Okay,
so imagine we use our eyes and our sense of smell. It's very understandable how these relay information to the brain. They're the messengers of the environment to the brain and vice versa. But your skin is another communication organ. So your skin can actually sense stresses from the environment, and it does have a direct pathway to the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis, which that is the center for stress interpretation in the brain. It's called the skin brain axis. And what happens when we have inflammation in general, but also basically senescent cells or zombie cells that produce inflammation in the form of secretory phenotypes of those cells. So they can infect other cells. That's why they're called zombie cells. They can actually send those signals down that skin-brain axis and actually inflame and stress out our brain, which in turn, some people claim it changes brain size, stuff like that. But really what it does, it then disrupts the stress response and the perception of stress throughout our body. And if you have ever watched a presidential a president after 4 years in office or 8 years in office, they don't look too good after they're stressed. I mean, that stress is one of the major aging drivers of our body as a whole.
Yes.
So by managing those types of malfunctioning processes, senescence is one of them, but the lack of cell communication, basically all of the hallmarks of aging, by managing them and making sure that we mitigate a lot of their effects in the skin, we actually then mitigate a lot of the effects that affect this cascade of metabolic events that would age your body as a whole.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
I had no idea that my skin health had the possibility to impact cognitive function. It makes a lot of sense for me. I have had people, I've heard people regurgitate this fact that if you get rid of all your body hair, that the body has a different reactivity with the outside world, which makes a lot of sense. Body hair is picking up sound. It's if you've ever felt the hair stand on up in your arm, and you get this alert response. That makes a lot of sense to me. Now, I join with you in the fact that the skin is what we would say in biological medicine is a primary emunctory.
Yeah.
So it's a primary pathway for something other than self to leave the body. So I know it's important. I know it's not just about up here on my grill.
Yeah.
I have seen that. I'm sure you've seen this image. There's this very either a cab driver or a truck driver.
Yeah.
She always had her left window open, so one side of her face is like, it looks like Darth Vader.
Yeah.
It looks not cute.
So no bueno.
So I know the role also that when the milieu, when the internal environment is not nourished, that our skin is highly susceptible to sun damage.